Good morning, students. Hope you're all doing good. Today we will continue with Act 3, Scene 3 of The Tempest, the third scene, which is popularly known as the banquet scene. When the scene begins, it says solemn and strange music. Now, here, Ariel and his meaner spirits had come on the command of Prospero to present this banquet before King and his company. So there is solemn and strange music that is played. Hearing the music, Alonso says, "What harmony is this, my good friend? Hark." Hark means listen. Harmony means music. So he says, "What music is this?" And he asks his companions to hark. Hark means listen. Marvelous sweet music. Gonzalo calls it wonderfully sweet music. Now, children, if you get a question, who enters the scene now, or what do they witness? Now, this entire thing that you see in your books written in italics, you will write the entire thing as it is. Please mark it. And if it is asked what happens next, or who enters the scene, or what do Alonso and others witness? So, this entire thing that is given in your book in italics, you will be writing it as it is. Enter Prospero above. Above means Prospero is not visible. He is somewhere above, maybe on some elevated platform where he is not visible to Alonso and other people. So, first thing is enter Prospero above, invisible. Enter below several strange shapes bringing in a banquet. So, Prospero is somewhere above on a higher platform and he is invisible to everyone else. And below on the ground, near Alonso and others, there are several strange shapes who bring in a banquet. A banquet is a feast. They dance about it with gentle actions of salutation. So, all these strange shapes, they dance around the feast, the banquet, with gentle actions of salutation to the king. Inviting the king and company to eat, they depart. So, every bit of this has to be in your answer. That is Prospero above, invisible, point number one. Below, several strange shapes bringing in a banquet, point two. They dance about it, number three, with gentle actions of salutation, point number four. Invite the king and company to eat, point number five. And they depart, point number six. Alonso says, "Give us kind keepers, heavens, what were these?" Now, here he says that may he have good angels or defending protectors. Who are these weird shapes that he is seeing? Sebastian calls it a living drollery. That is, drollery is a puppet show. So he calls it a live puppet show, or a living show with, or a puppet show with live actors. Now I believe that there are unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix throne, one phoenix at this hour reigning there. Now Sebastian is so bewildered, so amazed, so shocked to see this sight that he calls it a living drollery. This word you will remember, this phrase you will remember, how he addresses this entire site. How does he, what does he call this entire site? A living drollery. This phrase you will mark. And then he is so bewildered at this sight that they are now wanting to believe anything. Now, this is the same state you will find Sebastian, Alonso, Gonzalo, everyone you will find is in the same state of mind. They have seen so many weird sights on this island since the shipwreck or since the time of the tempest. They have seen so much of magic, so much of, weird sights around them that their minds are not in their normal state. They have seen so much of magic around them that they are in a state that they would readily believe anything that is told to them. Now, unicorns and phoenix both are legendary, right? Now, phoenix is a bird, a legendary bird. It doesn't actually exist, it is only there in the legends. It is believed that there is a bird named phoenix. It is a legendary bird, and it is said that this bird survives for 200 years. And after 200 years, this bird burns itself to ashes, and from that ash or from those ashes, a new phoenix takes birth. So, according to that philosophy, at one point of time, there is just one phoenix in the entire world, because that phoenix lives for 200 years. After that, it burns itself to ashes, and then from those ashes, a new phoenix emerges or takes birth. So, at one point of time in the world, there will be just one phoenix, according to the legend, and its throne is in uh, a tree in Arabia. And similarly, unicorns are also those animals that have that horse like animals which have a horn in the middle of their head. So now he says that seeing all this, drollery, living drollery that happened in front of him, now he would be ready to believe anything. He would even go to the extent of believing that unicorns actually exist. And next point, he would also readily believe that in Arabia there is one tree which is the throne of this legendary bird phoenix. It is not legendary, it actually exists. He is ready to believe that also. And he is even ready to believe that there is one phoenix, even at this time, who is reigning there, that is, on that tree in Arabia. Hearing that, Antonio says, I'll believe both. Both means both unicorns and phoenix. Now he says, after seeing that show, even Antonio is ready to believe in existence of the unicorns and the phoenix, which otherwise are regarded as mythical, non-existent creatures. But now he is ready to believe even in them. And what does else want credit? Want means lack. Credit means something that it's very difficult to believe. He says that not only he will now start believing that phoenix exist, unicorns exist, but he will also start believing in anything. What does else want credit? That is, he will believe in anything else that seems to be improbable. So anything that is still now considered improbable, just bring it to Antonio, and he will say that it is true after witnessing these strange shapes. So anything else that wants credit, come to me and I'll be sworn it's true. That is, just come to me and tell me it happened, and I will definitely say it is true. Now that is my mental state. Now I will believe in anything that is told to me. I will not doubt anything in this world now, having witnessed this strange sight before them. Travelers never did lie, though fools at home condemned them. Now he's talking about children, the travelers, the sailors of the days bygone. Now, when the world was still under exploration, and the sailors went to far off places, and they came back with stories of weird lands that they had witnessed, strange creatures that they had seen, strange plants and animals that they had seen, strange monsters that they had encountered. They would tell fascinating tales about all the weird adventures that they have had, right? The mermaids and whatnot, monsters, everything they would talk about. And the people back home, when they were told about these stories, they would condemn these travelers and call them fools, call them liars. So here, fools refer to people back home who did not believe the travelers. All right, fools are not the travelers here. So he says that the earlier, when the sailors came back home, they told all the tales of what they had seen, witnessed during their voyages. But the fools back home are the people back home. They condemned them, they called them liars, they did not believe them. But now, after witnessing these sights, he is very sure that these travelers would also have seen such weird sights as they are seeing presently, And even when they go back to Naples and Milan, and if they were to narrate all the strange sights that they witnessed in the on this island, obviously people back home would say that they are telling lies, and according to Antonio, there would be fools who would not be ready to believe what these people will tell them. So now he says their mental state is such that they would believe in anything that is told to them. And now he sympathizes with those sailors who told tales of all the weird things that they had witnessed, but nobody believed them back home and called them liars. And Gonzalo also says the same thing. He says, if in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? Report means describe if I was to go back to Naples. So if I were to go back to Naples and describe to people what they have just seen, will they believe what Gonzalo would tell them? If I should say I saw such islanders for now certain is now he says that if he goes back to Naples and says that he had seen these islanders. Now islanders here refers to the natives of the island and these strange shapes who he has just witnessed. He believes that they are the islanders, that is they are the inhabitants of this island. So he says that if he goes back to Naples and he says or he tells them that he has seen these islanders, these weird looking creatures who inhabit this island. For certain is it's a certainty that these people are the islanders. These people are the people of this island. It is certain that these people inhabit this island. Who, though they are of monstrous shape, yet note their manners are more gentle, kind than of our human generation. Now he has a very minute observation that he makes here. He says that though these shapes that have brought in the banquet, they may have monstrous shapes. They are not good looking. They may be very monstrous in their appearance. Yet just notice one thing. The mannerism that they have displayed are more gentle and kinder than are seen in their human generations. All right, these obviously weird creatures are not humans, but what he has witnessed as manners in the human generation, these islanders have displayed manners which are more gentle and which are kinder, though they may have monstrous appearances. You shall find many, nay, almost any. Now he says that you would not find many people in the human generation, or rather, then he says, no, you will find nobody among the human beings who is as gentle or as kind in manners as these monstrous shapes that have just vanished, who had just appeared and vanished after placing that banquet in front of them. So he says, so if you are asked what does Gonzalo notice about these creatures or what observation does Gonzalo make here, you will write this entire thing. He says that these are first point number one, they are islanders, definitely, because they look like the people inhabiting this island. Number two, they may have monstrous shapes. Number three, yet note their manners, which are first next point gentler, next point kinder than any of the human generations. All right. And next he says, you shall find many, nay, almost nay. That is, their mannerisms are gentler and kinder than you would find among many people, or rather, he then clarifies saying you would not find such manners in any human being. Now, Prospero is obviously present there and he is witnessing everything from above in his invisible state. So he is happy to note what Gonzalo says, and this speech is a soliloquy, Soliloquy. So he says aside to himself, honest Lord, referring to Gonzalo, thou hast said well, for some of you there present are worse than devils. He is referring to, people like Alonso, Antonio, Sebastian. So he says that this honest Lord Gonzalo has spoken more truly because some people present among them were even worse than devils. Alonso says, I cannot too much muse such shapes, such gestures, and such sound expressing although they want the use of tongue. A kind of excellent dumb discourse. Now, children, this show or this banquet that has been laid in front of them, you will precisely remember each person's reaction to it. All right. What did Alonso say? What did Gonzalo say? How did Antonio react? How did Sebastian react? Please don't mix up the points. All right. So if you're asked about Sebastian's reaction to this banquet being presented, this show in front of them, then you will write about this speech, A Living Drollery. So if you're asked about Antonio's reaction to this scene that they witnessed, you will say that he is ready to believe both Phoenix, Unicorn, and also everything else that the travelers back then have talked about. If you're asked about Gonzalo's reaction, this particular speech you will write. And now Alonso's reaction is this: I cannot too much muse. Muse means wonder. Now, seeing this show, he says that he cannot much muse, cannot much wonder at such shapes, such gestures, such sound expressing, although they want the use of tongue. Now he is expressing his surprise here at these creatures. His surprise is absolutely too much. It's his infinite surprise at this show is fully justified. He is feeling such surprise. Their shapes, their gestures, the sounds that they made, all he finds was indeed very amazing. And he says that although they did not possess the gift of speech, yet they were able to convey their thoughts by the means of their gestures without speaking any language. Whatever they wished to convey, it was so beautifully conveyed through their gestures without using any language. They conveyed their thoughts so beautifully to them. So he says he cannot muse means he's struck with wonderment. He cannot much wonder at such beautiful shapes they had, such gestures they made, such sounds they took out, or they expressed everything so beautifully, so excellently by their silent signs. Want the use of tongue means they lacked the power of speech. They did not utter any language, they did not speak anything. So, quote unquote, you will mark a kind of excellent dumb discourse. All right. Now, the entire show, he calls it as a kind of excellent because it very beautifully expressed whatever they wished to say without the use of tongue, without the use of language. So he says it was an excellent dumb discourse. Now, both are contrasting adjectives. If you are dumb, there cannot be discourse. Discourse means conversation. So it was a dumb kind of a conversation. Dumb means speechless, without the use of words. They were able to discourse means they were able to convey without words. They were able to express whatever they wished to say beautifully through their gestures, through the sounds. They conveyed everything that they wished